Fun fact: in Colombia, locals enjoy playing a sport called Tejo, the goal of which is to trigger packs of gunpowder which then explode on impact. The game itself is relatively straightforward. Players throw a heavy metal disc known as a Tejo towards a target set into a mound of clay. The target is surrounded by mechas, small triangular packets filled with gunpowder. Points are awarded based on accuracy, with additional points given if the Tejo causes the gunpowder to explode. Think of it like bar darts with more explosive force. The roots of Tejo stretch back over 500 years to the indigenous Muisca peoples. It was originally played with gold discs and was believed to be part of ritual offerings to the gods. The incorporation of gunpowder in the modern version of Tejo added some explosive stakes for the players, both literally and figuratively. Tejo is widely popular across Colombia, particularly in rural areas where it's a cultural fixture. Often played during social events while drinking chicha, an alcoholic drink made from fermented corn. While it has yet to gain significant international traction, the sport's unique blend of skill, strategy, and spectacle clinches its position as the second most popular sport in Colombia, right after soccer, which, if you know anything about Colombia, will always be the #1 sport. Across the globe, people compete in a wide variety of weird, wonderful, and unique sports. They may seem unusual to the casual basketball or hockey fan, but these sports reflect the history, geography, and social structures of their home countries. While mainstream sports dominate international attention, many of these lesser-known sports have rich traditions and an intense competitive spirit. Today we're exploring some of the wildest sports from around the world, examining their origins, rules, and cultural significance. Fun fact: elite camel jumpers in Yemen have been recorded leaping over as many as 6 camels in a single bound. Camel jumping is a traditional sport practiced by the Zaraniq tribe in Yemen, where, as the name suggests, competitors leap over a series of camels. The sport has been part of the Zaraniq tribe's culture for centuries. It's believed it all started as a dare between 2 tribesmen that gained popularity from then on. Camel jumping is a test of strength and agility, traits highly valued in the culture of the tribe. Young men will often try and prove their worth amongst the tribe by participating in these contests. The rules of camel jumping are simple. Participants take a running start and attempt to leap over as many camels as possible lined up side by side. The camels may be seated or standing depending on the level of difficulty. A successful jump means the athlete clears the camels without falling or touching a single hair on their hump. While largely confined to Yemen, camel jumping remains important to the Zaraniq people specifically. The sport is celebrated during tribal festivals and attracts attention from spectators both within Yemen and from international fans, fascinated by the sport's uniqueness. Bo-Taoshi is an intense Japanese sport that revolves around a single person sitting atop a single wooden pole. Teams compete to either defend or topple the pole. Think of it like a more chaotic version of Capture the Flag. Fun fact: in Bo-Taoshi, there's 75 players on each team and 150 players in total, making it one of the largest team sports in the world by total participants. The sport was originally developed as part of military training exercises designed to foster teamwork, coordination, and physical endurance. And the sport is a staple of physical education at Japan's National Defense Academy, where it's played every year on November 19th and 20th as part of the Academy's annual celebration. The game centers on a single wooden pole, which the defending team tries to prevent from being knocked over. The objective for the attacking team is to tilt the pole to a 30-degree angle or lower. The game is won when the attacking team successfully brings down the pole, or the defending team manages to protect it within the time limit. There are 7 player positions, 4 defensive and 3 offensive, with 1 defensive team member being the rider on top, who climbs up the pole and clings to it throughout the skirmish. In order to win, each team has to act in sync despite the chaos. The popularity of Bo-Taoshi is mainly confined to the National Defense Academy in Japan, but has gained wider recognition through viral videos of its high-energy gameplay, physical intensity, and strategic depth. Buzkashi is a traditional Central Asian sport most famously played in Afghanistan, but instead of a ball or puck, participants on horseback compete to gain control of a headless goat carcass and carry it to a designated goal, like a slightly messier version of polo. Fun fact: in Buzkashi, matches can last several days, which is not the best considering they're playing with an actively decaying goat carcass. Buzkashi is believed to have originated over 1,000 years ago with the nomadic Turkic peoples of Central Asia. It was initially played as a way to train warriors in horseback riding and combat skills. The sport holds deep cultural significance in Afghanistan, where it's remained popular. There are few formal rules in Buzkashi. The main objective is to grab the goat carcass from the ground and carry it to a goal while fending off opponents. Riders called chapandas must display exceptional horsemanship, as they often have to contend with intense physical confrontations and rough terrain. The teams aren't fixed in number either, with a goal being scored when the goat carcass is successfully placed in a designated area. Buzkashi remains a prominent sport in Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, and Tajikistan, but is especially important in Afghanistan, where it remains a symbol of national pride. Fun fact: the sport was brought to the US by members of the Afghan royal family in the 1900s, where it gained surprising popularity in Cleveland, Ohio. Only in Ohio. Ulama is considered the oldest known team sport, with its origins dating back over 3,000 years to pre-Columbian Mesoamerica. Fun fact: it's so old, historians still argue about where and when it originated, with the oldest ball court dating back to 1400 BC. Ulama had both recreational and ritualistic purposes among its players, often associated with religious ceremonies and life or death stakes. In pre-Columbian Mesoamerica, the game was considered sacred, with some versions involving human sacrifices. The game has deep cultural significance, representing themes of life, death, and the cosmic battle between good and evil. In Mesoamerican cosmology, there are countless examples of gods settling scores by playing ball, in both the Nahua codices and the Mayan Popol Vuh. Ulama is now played using a solid rubber ball that can weigh up to 9 pounds. The game is similar to volleyball, but with one major difference: players use only their hips to strike the ball. Like volleyball, the objective is to keep the ball in play and prevent it from hitting the ground. While the ancient sacrificial aspects of Ulama are no longer practiced, the sport is still played in Mexico, particularly in the state of Sinaloa. And there have been efforts to preserve the game as part of the region's cultural heritage, and it's seen a revival in recent years as a competitive sport, with 2 international championships happening in 2019 and 2022. The Onbashira Festival is one of the oldest and most dangerous rituals in Japan, taking place every 6 years in the Nagano prefecture. Fun fact: the festival's main event involves participants riding massive logs down steep hills as part of a religious tradition tied to the renewal of a local shrine. Not so much a sport, but a feat of athleticism and bravery nonetheless. The Onbashira Festival has been held for over 1,200 years to renew the sacred pillars of the Suwa Grand Shrine. It's deeply rooted in Shinto beliefs, which emphasize the connection between the physical and spiritual worlds. During the Yamadashi ceremony, 16 logs, which can weigh up to 12 tons, are chosen, cut down, decorated, and dragged down the mountain. Teams of men haul the logs through steep, treacherous terrain. Some participants observe a further ceremony called Kyotoshi, where they prove their bravery by riding atop the logs as they descend. Once the logs are brought down, they're erected at the 4 corners of the shrine. Injuries and fatalities have occurred. The latest incident happened in 2016, but the festival continues as a testament to the participants' bravery and devotion. The Onbashira has gained international attention for its sheer danger and spectacle. Thousands of visitors from around the world come to witness it, a unique blend of tradition, spirituality, and physical endurance. These games and sports demonstrate humanity's deep connection to competition and physical challenge. From the explosive Tejo to the perilous Kyotoshi, these local traditions reflect the people who play them, their environment, and their cultures. While they may seem unusual or extreme, they all share a common thread: the desire to test our abilities, push our limits, and in many cases, preserve cultural heritage. No matter how we compete, ultimately it's the sense of community and tradition that makes it all worth it, both for the players and for us, watching from the sidelines.